Let Me In is a 2010 American film and a remake of the 2008 Swedish film Let the Right One In, directed by Thomas Alfredson. So when Speak No Evil came out earlier this year, I remember everyone being like just baffled at how the original film was only, I think it was like 2 years old. I think we forget that really that's not that uncommon at all, for such a quick turnaround. It's either 2 years or 40. I don't make the rules. The original film, which was based on the 2004 novel of the same name, was, from what I remember, kind of like an instant cult classic. It was very cool and exciting. I actually have the book somewhere around here, though I've yet to read it, in true Eli fashion. I've heard it's super dark, though, much more than either film, and I am super curious about it. I need to... Maybe I'll start reading it this weekend. I say that all the time, and it never happens. Let Me In was directed by Matt Reeves, who I think is a phenomenal director. I have enjoyed everything that I've seen from him. He shows a lot of promise, and he had given us Cloverfield just 2 years prior. And I was a big fan of that one. I know people are kind of on the fence with it a lot of the time. I love Cloverfield. He was the right guy for the job, and gives this film a dark, brooding, atmospheric touch that is also emotional when it needs to be. And the film also benefits from having an almost surprisingly good cast, especially considering the two leads they're kids. Experienced kids even for the time, but kids nonetheless with, Chloe, what's her name? Chloe Grace Moretz and Cody Smith McPhee. On top of that, we also get the consistently underrated veteran actors, Richard Jenkins and Elias Koteas. I've always been a fan of those two guys. Set in the early 1980s, Owen, played by Cody Smith McPhee, is a troubled 12-year-old. He's bullied at school, and he's also dealing with his parents' divorce and a toxic environment living at home with his mom. It's pretty sad, especially if you yourself have been in any of those kinds of situations growing up. I could relate to him right away. And one night he sees an older man played by my boy Richard Jenkins, love that guy, and a young girl played by Chloe Grace Moretz, moving into the same apartment complex that he lives in. She doesn't go to his school, and he only sees her sometimes at night, but he seems drawn to her, and he wants to get to know her. He needs friends. And they do become friends, and one night after something catastrophic happens to Richard Jenkins' character, Abby knocks on Owen's door and asks to be invited in. And he soon learns that Abby is unlike other people. I mean, this is just a great story. It takes a very familiar horror genre and does something fresh with it. The original does, I should say. But, I really do think that this remake is highly underrated. I'm honestly not sure why it wasn't more successful. It didn't do super well in theaters at all. Maybe it was because it was an R-rated film with 2 child leads and, no A-list stars. I also think that the original film was so loved, and since it was only 2 years old at the time, I fully remember a lot of people just not wanting to give it a chance. So I'm going to give the edge to the original, but believe me, it was super close. It is, you could even really, in all fairness, you could probably call this a tie. So call it what you want, a tie, or I'm giving the edge to the original. For me, it's damn close. The storylines are very similar, but both films just have different things to offer, slightly different atmospheres, and they're different films with the same story. They're both really, really fucking good. Now, the question is, which one do you prefer? And if you haven't seen this remake, please at least check it out. It's not going to be a waste of your time. Well, thanks for watching, and I hope to see you guys tomorrow for my 8th video in this series. Cheers, guys. Stay spooky.